scary cells. Whatever the nature of their flesh, the spirits of the dead rake in very real profits when it comes to sightseeing. The tourists shelling out are doing so for a giddy but ultimately safe experience. The destinations featured on our list are less about the sort of commercial scare that you can buy at an amusement park. This is the real deal. These sites are authentically and unintentionally weird, macabre and mysterious. Gangnam Psychiatric Hospital, Gyeonggi, South Korea. The story of this abandoned psychiatric hospital reads like a textbook plot of a horror film. According to local legend, patients started dying mysteriously at the hospital some 10 years ago, eventually forcing its closure. It is now an abandoned, dirty building with only the most disturbing remnants of its former life, such as rusted wire fences and disintegrating examination chairs. The hospital is famed as one of South Korea's 3 major haunted sites. Sedlec Ossuary, Sedlec, Czech Republic. The Sedlec Ossuary is a small Roman Catholic chapel in Sedlec, Czech Republic. It also contains the skeletal remains of about 40,000 human beings dispersed throughout the interior in artistically arranged designs. The most notable creations made of human bones are the chandelier in the center of the room and the coat of arms of the Schwarzenbergs, the most blue-blooded of Bohemian aristocrats. It's difficult not to let your imagination run wild when pondering the sort of sick mind that conceived of things like a chandelier of human bones. But the real motive behind it all is quite prosaic. It was simply a matter of saving space. These bones were freely given from the bodies of devout Roman Catholics all over Europe, who clamored to be buried here after the abbot of Sedlec went on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem in 1278 and brought back soil from Golgotha where Jesus had supposedly been crucified. So many wanted to be buried in Golgotha soil that the chapel was turned into an ossuary. The remains of the previously buried were dug up and rearranged in the 16th century, a practical if somewhat disquieting way to use limited burial space in a thrifty way. Fetish Market, Lomé, Togo. As the largest fetish market in the world, Fetish Market in Lomé, Togo is a haven for voodoo practitioners. By fetish, we're referring to talismans that are used in voodoo healing. Things like crocodile heads, chimpanzee hands, cobras and bones. Lots of bones. These things, or parts of things, are sold as ingredients to be ground up, mixed with herbs and cooked over a fire. The resulting black powder is rubbed into a cut on the patient's chest, hopefully curing him of whatever brought him there in the first place. This makes the market, in effect, one giant pharmacy, and while there's nothing bad about that, it may be difficult to keep your cool amidst tables piled with the desiccating, grinning heads of cheetahs and hyenas or unidentifiable, vaguely humanoid skulls laid out like melons at the local grocer's. La Isla de los Muñecos, Tishulo Lake, Mexico. La Isla de los Muñecos, or the island of the dolls, is the stunningly morbid creation of a man named Don A. Leon Santana, who lived as a hermit on an island, for 50-odd years until August in 2001. During August time there he amassed an impressively ghastly collection of dismembered, broken dolls and hung them on tree branches around the island, where they hang to this day, like sacrifices. It looks cruel and disturbing, but the backstory is surprisingly sweet. Although there are several versions of the legend, they all converge upon the idea that Don A. Leon dedicated the dolls to the spirit of a little girl who had drowned in the canal. Whether it communicated with the spirit, or whether the drowned girl had actually existed, are all points of contention. Battleship Island, Nagasaki, Japan. Hishima Island, also known as Gunkanjima, meaning Battleship Island as the island resembles a warship, is a 60,000 square meter cluster of concrete ruins in the sea by Nagasaki, Japan. Hishima Island has been abandoned since 1974, when the coal mine shut down. There's always something a bit sinister about deserted islands. Isolation is a double-edged sword. Being surrounded by sea might mean an excellent vacation, or getting stranded with no place to run. Although Hishima was entirely closed off until 2009, travelers are now allowed to visit. It was UNESCO recognized in 2015. The island also served as the secret headquarters of Bond villain Raoul Silva in 2012 movie Skyfall. Chernobyl Amusement Park, Pripyat, Ukraine. Deserted amusement parks can be creepy enough, but at Chernobyl Amusement Park, in the ghost town of Pripyat, Ukraine, the reason for abandonment makes the place not only creepy, but hazardous. The 1986 nuclear disaster at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant closed down the plant and caused the evacuation of the entire city, rendering this amusement park useless. While the people have long since departed, the radiation remains. Catacombs, Paris, France. Fancy descending under the streets of Paris and wandering through the catacombs, an eerie network of old curryfests and tunnels lined with the bones of the dead? Now you cannot one of Paris' creepiest attractions, home to the bones of roughly 6 million people, and deeper underground than the metro and the sewer systems. The catacombs were created to accommodate overflowing 18th century cemeteries. Don't veer off the tourist trail though. In summer 2017, 2 teenagers were lost in the cavernous network for 3 days. The Vegaglia Island, Venice, Italy. This beautiful isle is haunted by its eerie past. It was once a quarantine zone for plague sufferers in the late 1700s. Later, in the 1920s, it became an asylum for the mentally unwell. Allegedly, the island is haunted by the spirits of the patients from the psychiatric hospital. Legend says a sadistic doctor, plagued by visions of the patients he had tortured, threw himself off the bell tower. The building remains an abandoned, rusty structure, its spine chilling. In 2014, it nearly became a luxury hotel, but the deal fell through, and it remains a macabre reminder of its terrible past. It's not supposed to be visited by anyone, let alone tourists, but you might be able to persuade a boat operator in Venice to take you there. The Darva is a crater, or the gateway to hell, Turkmenistan. Yes, there really is a crater deep in the Turkmenistan desert that's been burning in inferno for the past 40 years. Officially called the Darva crater, this incredible site is also nicknamed the gateway or doorway to hell. There's no concrete record of what exactly happened, making the fiery cavern even more intriguing. It's said to have formed in 1971, when Soviet geologists looking for oil realized they'd stumbled across a cavern of natural gas. They set it alight to avoid the spread of methane gas. Now it's an incredible site, in a total wilderness, and a veritable tourist attraction. Bell Witch Cave, Tennessee, USA. The spirit of Southern Gothic can be embraced, with a spine-tingling visit to the Bell Witch Cave, the supposed one-time home of an evil witch who plagued the Bell family of Tennessee during the 1800s. This malevolent spirit allegedly poisoned and killed Patriarch John Bell, wreaking havoc on his family, particularly his daughter Betsy. It's said the witch was a vengeful neighbor, Kate Batts. The story is a local legend in Tennessee, and it's been immortalized in novels and on screen. Rumor has it that President Andrew Jackson visited the property, only to be scared away. I had rather face the entire British Army than to spend another night with the Bell Witch, he supposedly said. If you're in the mood for some ghost hunting, you can visit John Bell's cabin and delve into the cave. Who knows, perhaps the witch still frequents this creepy cavern. So today we've talked about 10 of the scariest places in the world. I hope that today's video is useful and interesting for you. Bye bye.